Hey there. I wanted to talk with you a little bit about one of my old habits that I had to kick. And that was the habit of smoking cigarettes. Baby, when I tell you it was time to get something to drink, a pack of my Cool Blue 100s, some good music, and I'm telling you, some cooking, I was in a whole zone of my own, okay? If you were coming to my house and you were a guy who I was talking with at the time, excuse me, before you come, bring me a pack of Cool Blue 100s. That was me. I was that girl to do that. But I met Candy Burris, and this was years ago, and she was telling me, it's not cool to be sitting here smoking. Who do we know who is of our age sitting here still smoking a cigarette? I can't believe you're doing that. Well, not to help it, but here comes Carmen, her bestie, and they double team me, let me know how I need to stop smoking cigarettes and how it's just not the thing. At that moment, I knew that it was in my mind, it felt impossible because I just loved it. I even loved those little pieces that you get back in the 40s and it's extending for the cigarette. I bought one of those too. And you can smoke your cigarette so that the smell doesn't hit your face. I felt like I was born in that era because I loved it. I absolutely loved it. If I can go to the corner store and buy 3 cigarettes for $1, oh, it's going down. So of course, I'm just being honest. But I want to share this really quick. I didn't notice, but I heard before of how potent the tobacco is and how it's easy to get addicted. Years ago, I smoked cigarettes, and I would say, more like when I was 18, 19, and I stopped in my early 20s. And then all of a sudden, I picked it back up. Maybe about 28, about 28, I picked it back up. And I would just smoke, just have a drink just to smoke. What I didn't realize is that inside of the cigarette, okay, I wish I would have bought one just so you could kind of see. But inside of the cigarette is fiberglass. And so what happens is the fiberglass is cutting the inside of your throat, okay? I might not be saying all the terminology right, but I hope you're getting a visual picture of this. So it cuts. So here I am, and I have my cigarette, and here I am, and I'm lighting it, and I'm smoking it, and it's that sensation here because it cut so that the nicotine has somewhere to deposit into, okay? I hope that makes sense. So, if I was to stop smoking cigarettes, then the cuts would heal on my throat. So it's almost like as if it's soothing your throat because the cuts are no longer there. So you might have a thing where you start coughing, and you're like, oh, why am I coughing? And you say, I haven't smoked a cigarette, why am I coughing? It's because our lungs, they're trying to heal themselves. Our body tries to heal itself. So our lungs are trying to heal itself, right? So what happens is that there's 2 things happening. Our throat, which those cuts from the fiberglass are healing. And so also is our lungs healing at the same time. So it's a process. So you might ask, what did you do to stop smoking cigarettes? I know about all that. So what I did was, the first thing I had to do, I had to wash all my clothes. All the ashtrays in my house, I had to get rid of. I could not have that nicotine smell because it was in my walls, it was in my clothes, in the fabric, and it was very strong. So I had to wash all my clothes. I had to bleach and clean my house, almost like sanitize it to detox the air, okay? After I did all those steps, I began to get a patch. There was a lady at Publix, and she said, you need to get a patch for your arm, and if you get this patch, it'll go here or wherever you put on your body, and it's going to feed you that nicotine. And I told her I had that one time when I was in the hospital, and I did stop smoking cigarettes, but I started back up again. I don't know why. I thought I was strong enough to stop. Excuse me. See, clear my throat. So I went ahead, and she said, I would rather you continue to keep buying those patches than to just totally give up and say you won't try it again. I said, okay, I'll do that. So it sunk in my head, all them people, right? And then I met this guy, and he was talking to me, and he had to be sent by the Lord. And he said, one day you are going to, the habit's going to be broke. You're not going to even desire to smoke that cigarette. At the moment when he said it, I thought, this is impossible. I don't know what he's talking about, but we'll go with it. So, in conclusion, what I'm stating is, the patch fed the nicotine. I had the nicotine in my body, and I did not take that patch off, okay? I slept in it because I was a person who loved to smoke cigarettes. I slept in it until I had the full nicotine, and then the next morning, I would wait before I put on another patch. Whenever I had the urge to smoke a cigarette, that patch would be right back on, okay? And you could kind of know if you're kind of moody, put the patch back on. I don't believe in throwing all your cigarettes away because we didn't gain this habit overnight. So I took at least my last 4 cigarettes and I put them in the freezer, okay? Those were my emergency. If I had to rip that patch off to smoke my cigarette, right, I was going to. But thanks be to God that I did not have to. Anything that you do on a 21-day basis becomes a habit. And guess what? The habit has stuck, okay? The smell, I cannot deal with it. I'm sorry if you smoke. I don't mean any harm. You could, okay, I'm not judging. I'm just sharing what I did and what worked for me. And of course, above all things, prayer, okay? So I hope this encourages somebody. I hope somebody will be able to say, you know what, I'm going to give it a try. I might not succeed, but I'm going to give it a try, okay? And Candy Birds, thank you. Carmen, thank you for y'all encouragement, and I received it. And I just had to say thank you. I hope you get this video because you need to know I'm appreciative. I smell good. My skin looks a lot better. I don't have that poison in my body. Lord, thank you for that. Talk to y'all later.